A new world order where you will own everything and you and your family will be very happy and content. 5 corporations run the world how they wish and own virtually all of the money and own all of the workers. My vision is the complete opposite, where no owners exist, just workers and managers, where people own themselves and keep nearly all of the money they earn, and not just a fraction of it, with the rest taken by the people who own them. Take Amazon as one example of many, who employ 1.3 million people worldwide. And I'm very confident that those people could all hand in their notice, walk out the door, and begin to run their own new Amazon. And instead of just one man receiving all the profits, the workers could all share the profits as wages between themselves. The Amazon's owner's net worth is £120,000 million. Imagine having a share of that instead of the pittance that you receive. Only one person made it, so I'm confident 1.3 million people could have a good go on their own. After all, they would have 1.3 million new customers, which would be a good start. And they would also have the support of the public, who would not have to pay for Prime and get it free as a bonus. According to the internet, Amazon profits have gone up 35% since COVID, but they have only paid 3% more tax. So when workers take over running their own lives, they would pay PAYE, which minimum tax is 20%. So more tax would be paid. No corporation tax loopholes, so more money for the NHS, pay rises for nurses, or more money for charities, or just society in general. Example 1 of billions. A person delivering a parcel at 9:15 on a Saturday night who is receiving 60p for delivering that parcel, their car, their petrol, their phone even to take the picture, while somebody in an ivory tower somewhere is receiving £5.40. My idea is a delivery person receives the £5.40 and the 60p is to pay for managers to run the place, no owners. Could you imagine the benefits? This would lift them and their family out of poverty just for a start. You would work less hours at higher pay. You would have more time for yourself and time with your family, instead of just working and sleeping. You would have more time to help your partner, picking your children up from school. There would be fewer children in nurseries, with toddlers spending more quality time with their parents. With also the possibility of a mortgage and owning your own home, and the added bonus of more holidays and more rest with no work at weekends. It has not been done yet, but in my opinion, it would also raise mental health a great deal. All these major positives will appear with just a few minor, brave adjustments of living life without owners and being owned. How much profit have you made your owner during your work life? Obviously, every one of you is different, but some of you, I'm sure, are saying millions. So you are capable of earning it, just not keeping it for yourself. Could you imagine how much money you would have if you kept all the profit you made for yourself and your family, and how different your life would be? Well, you can, with a few brave changes and everyone working as one. It is not the law that you have to be owned, but we are brought up with this concept like there is no other way. There is. The first thing people ask when meeting strangers is, what do you do? What label do you wear? Not, are you happy? Do you have any children? No. Work comes first. So we are brought up to believe. I believe people should come first. With less hours worked, there would also be more jobs available for the unemployed, fairly paid, decent jobs, with everyone being able to afford their five a day and not missing meals. People will be less stressed and more content because they would be working totally for themselves and for each other. We would have a non-profit world. Have a look at the world's top 100 richest people. It begins at 190 billion, then 180 billion, then 127 billion, all the way down to number 100, who has 16 billion. That is just 100 people. To save you a job, the internet says the total is 4.7 trillion. A trillion is 1 million million. Imagine legally with just hard work, some guts, and a step into the unknown, stopping them in their tracks. And you all have a share out of all that money instead, just by standing on your own 2 feet, taking control and not being owned. Another part of the New World Plan is to address no conscience supermarkets, whose only goal is never-ending profit. They are so powerful, but actually they are not even needed. They are just middle people reliant on wholesalers. The amount of money they have helped themselves to: 2.3 thousand million, 1,000 million, 854 million, 496 million, and that is just the top 4, leading sadly to 7.3 million people in food poverty. Do you think that is right? Only you can stop them. The internet states that farmers only receive 8% of what their products are actually worth because of the power of supermarkets. This does sound rather low to me, but I don't know. We'll slowly but surely get rid of the supermarkets by boycotting them one at a time. Everybody who wants to will vote for the supermarket to go first. Then after you have starved the first supermarket by not entering their premises at all anymore, we will begin to open non-profit shops. Shops that just charge enough to give the staff a fair and comfortable wage and expenses, of course. This will save us all over £4,000 million a year. No more people in food poverty, and we shall have shops that care about us and not their bottom line. And the added bonus of no more advertising and being stalked on your laptop. Also, one aside, if it cannot be 100% recycled, it cannot be made or produced. Parliament, we should all vote for having real democracy, not pretend democracy. Every 4 years, then they can do as they wish, putting people in charge who we never voted for. This is dictatorship, not democracy. I suggest a symbolic Prime Minister, like David Attenborough or Alan Titchmarsh, or just somebody wonderful. Stephen Fry in charge of mental health, and obviously Martin Lewis in charge of the Treasury. The power of the mobile phone will ensure a vote for everyone. Politicians to have one job only. The government is not allowed to lend money and not allowed to print money or to use quantitative easing. They just have to balance the books like we all have to and not get future generations in horrendous debt. Just look at our shameful deficit. If the government sent everyone a bill every year to pay towards the deficit, I think there would be a lot more interest. Every decision or law passed in Parliament needs to be voted for by everyone who wishes to. We need to look after and keep an eye on your money, because the government doesn't have any money, it just has your money. Politicians paying their own heating bills for their second homes and also buying their own dinners instead of you buying it for them. These are just a few suggestions. I'm sure you have many others. The royal family, the wave machine. According to 2 sources on the internet, they are worth £88,000 million plus property, and every year they are given millions more of poor people's money to carry on waving and getting applauded for walking along, turning up or strolling to church. People love the royal family and long may it continue, but no more money. They are all public property, but when it comes to reading the will, then suddenly this is a very private affair. Indeed, the reason being, your eyeballs would fall out if you ever see a royal wheel, and I know you would then agree with me. No more poor people's money. And aside, this is one of the greatest countries in the world without a doubt. But the biggest disappointment for me is the national anthem. We have so much history, so many great achievements, so much talent, yet we sing a dour tune about one person asking God to save them, missing a great opportunity to show the world who we are, our pride and our patriotism. Someone please write a new national anthem. Keeping our women safer due to a few bad apples in the police force is at an all-time low. I would like to suggest that the army, 80,000 strong, just hanging around waiting for war, costing us £45,000 million a year. They could spend their night times patrolling pubs, clubs, beat up areas to watch women home to help ensure their safety. I am confident this would help and make women feel safer. An unlicensed cab or a tank full of soldiers patrolling the streets. You can only but salute all the millions of people going on marches recently for what they believe in. But the only march that will be successful will be marching out that door and never going back. Power is never given, so it must be taken. But you'll be pleasantly surprised that you had the power all along, but you have been convinced over your life that you have not, and you are destined for slavery. It is time to stand on your own 2 feet and take the profit for yourself, what you earn and what you deserve, for your sake, for your family's sake, and for the world's sake. Do not accept being owned. I, for one, think you are better than that. I really do. But it's what you think that matters. After all, you are in charge. Thank you for your time.